Okay, so the class is now available on YouTube. Please, in case you have any challenge with the physical, with the Google Meet, please feel free to use the YouTube. Okay, feel free to use the YouTube, right? Okay. So right on the screen, we'll see the Scrum. And then we'll have another one that we call Kanban. And then we'll have another one that we call A-Stream Programming. And then we'll have another one that we call Lean. We have another one that we call Disciplined Agile. But for the sake of this class, we are only going to focus on two major ones. That's Scrum and Disciplined Agile. And those ones, in a way, they are things that you can easily apply. Okay, you can easily apply them in your day-to-day operation and in your day-to-day thoughts and thinking patterns. All right. So the first one is Scrum. X-C-R-U-M, Scrum. Now, Scrum is considered the most used Agile framework. It is the one in close similitude to project management. So if you are a Scrum Master or you're a Scrum product owner or you're a Scrum development team, you must have mastered project management processes, project management principles, project management frameworks, and the likes. And of course, we always encourage everyone that comes across our trainings, no matter what you do, you always, no matter the training you want to do, it will have a way of taking you back to project management. Okay, so I'm recommending project management also to everyone here. So hopefully by February, March next year, we'll have the first batch. So just be on the lookout so that you can have all the necessary tools to be able to deliver. Now, Scrum organizes work into time-boxed sprints with defined roles and ceremonies. That looks like a definition from Oyo State. This definition looks like it's from Oyo State. It organizes work into time-boxed sprints with defined roles and ceremonies. In the morning section, I told us what ceremonies are. Ceremonies are the events, the activities that take the different phases that take place in an agile framework, an agile methodology. And then the sprint is the time-boxed life cycle that produces the minimum viable product, okay, of any given product, service, or deliverable. Then the defined roles here, we have the defined roles of product owner, Scrum Master, and the development team. You know, in the traditional project management, we talk about stakeholders. And then we'll begin to diagnose and analyze different kinds of stakeholders, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. In the internal stakeholders, you have the project team, you have the project manager, you have the client or the customer, and all of that. Then you have the external stakeholders. In the external stakeholders, you begin to now look at your enterprise environmental factors. You look at the political stakeholders, economic stakeholders, social stakeholders, technology stakeholders, legal and environmental stakeholders. But in Scrum, instead of having to look at a bulky framework of stakeholders, it just looks at all of the stakeholders in three compositions. And it calls one of them the product owner. And the product owner is the person that owns the project. Now, when we say own the project, we don't really mean the project sponsor. When we say the project owner is the person, product owner is the person that actually idealizes the product, and he has ownership of the idea, and he provides the support in terms of research, in terms of clearing roadblocks, in terms of communicating with other stakeholders to ensure that the Scrum Master, who in this case now would have been our normal project manager, okay? But as we move on, we'll see the difference between a project manager and a Scrum Master. So the person who you would have called a contractor. So in this case, the product owner is more like a contractor. He has the ownership of the project, not that he is the sponsor, not that he is the how will I put it now? Not that he is the one that the project will be handed over to at the end of the day, no. But for the fact that he is the chief idealist towards the project, and he is the one that knows every expected outcome in the project. He's the one that did the research, he's the one that did the business analysis, he's the one that did case justification, he's the one that is and all of that. Okay, so we regard that as a product owner. Now the Scrum Master in this case serves as a facilitator. So he is facilitating the communication and the development team. So whatsoever the product owner has what to deliver, what as an outcome, he or she communicates to the master, who then facilitates the development of ideas, the development of such products, of such services, of such projects through the development team. Scrum is a facilitator. They go to project management called functional project management. We have the projectized structure. You have the matrix structure. You have the weak and strong structures, as the case may be. And then to a matrix structure. A matrix structure is a balanced structure. It balances the functional structure, the projectized structure. In the same vein, the Scrum Master acts as, if I mean by hybrid manager, at some point, he could present himself as the facilitator, as the coordinator, as the functional manager, but his work by all means is development team. This is what the product owner wants. Make sure you keep it that way. So he is providing leadership to the development team. Then the development team, on the other hand, are the group of people that plans and executes the idea. So they are the implementation team. The implementation team. Now, remember that one of the key principles of Agile is collaboration. So when a project or a product or a business idea is conceived and you want to use a Scrum approach, Scrum by collaboration simply means these three categories of stakeholders will come together and review the idea, review everything, and then have an agreement of what we call DOD, definition of done. Remember that definition? We talked about definition of done today. So the three of them have to come together and decide on what definition of done is to the project, or to the idea, or to the product, or to the service. Okay, and then there will be clarity of what will be the responsibilities of the roles, from product owner to Scrum Master to what do you call the other one? Development team. All right. Now, I wanted to also note that there is each of these different frameworks we'll be dealing with. There are different specialized certifications in them. And even in the specialized certification, each of them still have their specialized certification. For example, when you get to Scrum, Scrum has a minimum of 3 certifications. And what does that mean? Each of these stakeholders, each of these roles is a certification under Scrum. I've been able to get certified as a Scrum Master. and I've as my end of the year assignment, I've enrolled for my exams for the product owner certification. So when I'm done with everything about IPM this year, the remaining 2 weeks or 3 weeks of the year, I will use them to write my SPO exam, that's Scrum Product Owner exam, and any other one that comes up. All right. So even with what we are doing, each of these roles here are independent certifications, so that everybody in this Scrum framework will understand their roles and not jump to the other person's role. That's the essence of the trainings and certifications on the Scrum framework. Then you have the Scrum ceremonies. We have 5 Scrum ceremonies. The 5 Scrum ceremonies, you have the sprint planning, the daily stand-ups, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and backlog refinement. I guess some of my letters are cutting. Backlog refinement. Now, sprint planning. Sprint essentially, remember that Agile is iterative. Now, the word iterative is, to Scrum is called sprint. To Scrum. So when you come to Agile, the place you hear of sprint more often is if you're using Scrum. But if you're using maybe disciplined Agile or you're using Kanban, you will just keep hearing the word iterative. So whether you use iterative or iteration rather, whether you use iteration or you use sprint, you're saying the same thing, just that you could be saying the same thing at different frameworks. All right. Now, a sprint plan, with every sprint plan is a cycle on its own. Every sprint is a cycle. And remember, a sprint lasts between 1 week to 4 weeks. So between that 1 week to 4 weeks, it's expected that you must have a minimum viable product from that cycle that you've run through. Okay. And what is that cycle? In the sprint planning, you have your definition, you have your planning, you have your you have definition, you have planning, you have implementation or your execution, then you have your testing, okay, then you have your deployment, and then you have review. So I'll repeat this again. In your sprint planning, in that cycle of what you have to do your definition. We've already discussed what definition of done is. So for every idea, for every minimum viable product, there must be definition of what it will be. Then by that definition, in a normal traditional project management setting, would have called it scope statement. Scope statement. But since we are not dealing with the entirety of the project from A to Z, we are just dealing with a minimum viable product within the entire project, we won't be able to call it a scope statement because the scope statement covers the entire project. All right. Now, with that, you have sprint as a cycle. And then on that cycle, the first assignment is definition of what you're doing, the definition of done in terms of the minimum viable product. And then when you are sure of what the MVP is going to be, then you go on with the planning of how that will be achieved. And then from your planning, you go to implementation of the plan. And by implementation of the plan, you go to, after implementing the plan, you go to deployment. By executing the plan or by executing the sprint plan, you must have achieved your MVP. Now that MVP, you now test the MVP, whether it will serve the purpose of what we defined in the beginning. If it serves the purpose, then we deploy. If it doesn't serve the purpose, then we review to find out why is it not serving the purpose. Okay, why is it not serving the purpose? All right, so that is your sprint planning, and that gives you a cycle. So if you look at what we have on that table there, the image we have there, so you see a sprint is 1 to 4 weeks, although it's very faint, but that is just a sprint cycle. Okay, and how all of these other ceremonies hang around. So you have your product backlog. From your product backlog, you will be able to derive your sprint backlog. Sprint backlog is a derivative from the product backlog. The product backlog is the entire backlog of the project or the next product I want to deliver. But your sprint could be a feature, could be a function, could be another benefit you want to add to the product. So if you diagnose the product backlog, it's okay, this we want to increase, let's say, for example, those that manufacture phone, you say we want to increase the camera capacity from 8 MP to 16 MP. Remember that the backlog has 8 MP, but 8 MP is not the only backlog in that phone. You have the screen as part of the backlog. You have the keys as part of the backlog. You have the casing. You have the total appearance and every other thing. They are all in the backlog. But when we now want to begin to add to individual functionalities, we can pick them as sprints, and then from that sprint, the backlog will be the backlog of the sprint you want to work on. Like example, you want to work on the camera. You want to move from 8 MP to 16 MP. The backlog from the product backlog says that the backlog product has 8 MP, but the sprint says I want to make it 16 MP. All right. So the sprint backlog will be just the camera in the entire product backlog. And then when we are done with that, we'll pick another backlog. We'll just keep picking till we are done with the review or additional functionalities we want to add to the product. And then the new product becomes a backlog again for the next product that you want to develop. Okay, so, oh God, as I'm talking now, I'm feeling like I'm talking to myself. Okay, so please, did you understand? Did you understand what I'm trying to say? If you understood it, I want you to use the chat room and give me your review from 25% to 100%. I want to know to what extent you understood my explanation of sprint planning. Okay, I want you to show me in the chat room. So somebody has 75% understanding. So Kenny or Sinus, you said no. It cannot be completely no. You would have understood something. So from 25% at least, just be going up from 25%. Hey, Architect Armstrong, you're in this class, and your understanding of sprint is 25%. I will remove you from this class. Architect Armstrong, I will remove you from this class. Okay. Oh my God. Architect Armstrong is a chartered and licensed project manager. So he cannot tell me that he doesn't, his understanding of sprint is 25%. Okay. All right. So let me try to explain just a little more. Our time is running, but if we can understand a little of the things we need to get, no problem. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read the entire scripture on the screen, and then we'll begin to look for insight. So Scrum is the most widely adopted Agile framework used by approximately 87% of organizations practicing Agile methodology. Scrum provides a structured approach to iterative development through clearly defined goals, events, and artifacts. The framework organizes work into sprints, typically lasting 2 to 4 weeks, during which a cross-functional team works to deliver a potentially shippable product increment. Now, the 3 key roles are the product owner, who is the one that idealizes the project, idealizes the product, or idealizes the service, or idealizes the change. And then he's the one responsible for communicating to the stakeholders. He's the one responsible for seeking for funding. He's the one responsible for communicating the idea through the Scrum Master to the development team. Now, the Scrum Master is responsible for facilitating that idea, that feasibility report that the product owner says is workable. The Scrum Master's assignment is to make it work. Just make it work. Okay, the Scrum Master, your own is make it work. All right, by supporting and facilitating the development team. Now, the development team is responsible for execution. The development team will execute to the level of definition of done based on the agreement they had, the three of them, the three groups, product owner, Scrum Master, and development team. Based on the definition of done, they will develop and build according to what is said is the product, MVP, the minimum viable product. Now, to be able to, for these three key roles to be able to work effectively, they now need to engage the Scrum ceremonies, which are 5 in number. The first of it is called sprint planning. Remember that in the description, I said the framework, which is the Scrum framework, organizes work into sprints. This sprint is typically what we would have called a project phase. But because a project phase doesn't really give you an MVP that will solve a problem, it only produces an output that can be used as an input for the next phase of the project. The sprint on its own, when you go through a sprint, it gives you an MVP. And I will give you an example. So let's say we need to have okay, let's go back and use Corolla as an example. Okay, remember Corolla? Let's use Corolla, Toyota Corolla as an example. Now, sprint planning, Corolla 2004, we want to move it, we want to produce 2005, for example. And sprint planning now says, on the tire, what are we to do? That means by the time we are done with the sprint planning and the sprint cycle on tire, would have gotten a tire that would be suitable for Toyota Corolla 2005 from 2004. Then we go to the interior. What do we want to achieve from 2004 to 2005? What do we want to have in 2005 that will be different from the way it's looking in 2004? By the time you finish the sprint for interior, it would have given you a product, an MVP. Then you go to the dashboard, you go to the engine, you go to, so each part, the major parts of the car can be worked on as sprints. This is what it means. So instead of maybe 5 persons to work on a car, or maybe 2 persons to work on a car, you can have a group of people separate. So you can have a Scrum Master, or have different professionals in the development team as a cross-functional team. Now you could have different people. Some expert will be working on the tire, some expert will be working on the engine, but no matter what they are working on, they will work on it as a sprint cycle. That's, we are giving you 1 week to 4 weeks, 1 to 4 weeks to be able to deliver that. That is your sprint planning as a case. Now, the sprint planning, I said, involves the following. You have your definition. This definition is the definition of what to expect from the current position of that product to the expected position. What do you expect? So that will give us the definition of done. We want to move the tire from maybe from 14 rim to 16 rim. Okay, so if we're able to move it from 14 to 16, 16 is the definition of done, the tire of that car. Okay, so you must have definition for each of the sprints that you want to undertake. There must be definition, because at the end of each sprint, there must be a minimum viable product. All right, then from definition of done, you now go to the planning on the implementation. Then from implementation, you go to testing the MVP to be sure that it met with the definition of done. And then from the testing, if it meets the definition of done, then you go to deployment. That's, you can start using it. If it does not meet the definition of done, then you go back and review till it meets the definition of done, or you review the definition of done. Now, I now said in sprint planning, you need input of input here. You need backlog. You need what we call the sprint backlog. This sprint backlog is an extraction from the product backlog. And I use the car as a case again. You are working on the sprint of improving the tire of the car. Okay, that's a sprint. But you are taking it from the entire Corolla. So the Corolla 2024 is a product backlog for Corolla 2025. Now, the tire for Corolla 2024 is a sprint backlog for the improvement of the tire for Corolla 2025. So your sprint backlog is extracted from your product backlog. This is to say that for every word that you want to say, there is a dictionary that contains it. So your product backlog is like your entire dictionary. Your sprint backlog is the individual words you want to pick from the dictionary and then begin to explain them and bring them to application. Okay, let me just trust that I explained it a bit better. But I cannot really say. Okay, so please, can we now come back? Let's review our understanding of sprint planning to backlogs. So let's go back from 25 to 100. Can I get your rating in the chat room? Can I get your rating in the chat room? If your understanding has improved, let me know. Okay, so I've not gotten to daily stand-up yet. I'm still on sprint planning, but I'm going to explain the rest now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. Now, after the sprint planning, the next one is the daily stand-ups. So one of the key aspects of Agile, especially when it comes to Scrum, is that every day you must review what you did yesterday. You must review whether it's every day or dependent on your velocity, the way you're doing your work. Okay, so if your work is done hourly and you go on a break and you come back, Scrum expects that before you move to the next, before you start your work from where you stopped, you do a stand-up. What is stand-up? You review what you've done. Ask questions. Did you face any challenges? How is it going? Is there something I need to know? You get all those basic information. And then remember, as a Scrum Master, you are the one coordinating the stand-up, right? You're the one trying to get your team to be at alert. Do they need further support? Is there anything that is missing? So as a Scrum Master, you want to check all those things before you move on. So the daily stand-up, remember I said it's traditionally called daily stand-up, but if your project is done in hours, you don't have to wait for the day. So you just go for a break. By the time you're coming back, you can take 5 minutes, 15 minutes stand-up and review what you've done. And the key word there is stand-up. You don't sit down to do stand-up. It's not a realization point. You just want to quickly get everyone, pam, 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 pam. What are you missing? Are you good? What's your percentage performance? Is there anything I can help you further with? Just get them, 5 minutes, you're done. 10 minutes, you're done. Maximum 15 minutes. If you keep them long, they will be bored and you can disrupt the work. So the shorter, the better. That's for your daily stand-up. The essence is to get feedbacks, and then you could know where to come in as a Scrum Master. Then from the stand-up, you go to sprint review. What is sprint review? Sprint review is more of monitoring and evaluation. As you're doing your work, you are reviewing as well. Okay, you've done your planning, you do your execution, your stand-ups, you do your stand-up in your execution. So stand-up is execution in a way. Now, while you're doing all of that, you're also reviewing. So your stand-ups helps you also with review, all those feedbacks and all of that. And then If you say this work is meant to be done in 1 hour, and then in your stand-up, 1 hour is gone and the work has not been done, you quickly review and find out why is the work not done? Why is our time boss not catching up? Okay, and then you'll be able to review and then you move on. Now, the next one is your sprint retrospective. In your sprint retrospective is when the project has been completed, when your MVP has been produced, and you want to take a look at the lessons learned. You want to take a look at what did we do right and what did we not do right. What are the lessons we are learning from here? You call it retrospective. You think through the whole process, you go through the whole team, and then you learn your lesson, and then you have your backlog refinement. Your backlog refinement is if you didn't capture the backlog properly. So let's say, for instance, the tire of this Corolla is currently 14 rim, maybe 14 rim, 18 inches, and you captured it as 14 rim, 22 inches as example. Obviously, that backlog will not give you what you want to get in the next model of that tire. So if you notice anything that is a deviation, either from your review or your retrospective, then you update your backlog, you refine your backlog so that it will be good enough to provide the right information to the team at all times. Okay, then from the ceremonies, you now go to the artifacts. Artifacts are those handleable representations, so you can call them documents. Okay, now this artifact, you have your product backlog, you have your sprint backlog, and your product increment. I've explained what product backlog is. I've explained what sprint backlog is. Now, when you run a backlog through a sprint for the purpose of improvement, the outcome it gives you is an increment, is an addition to the former functionality or to the former deliverable or to the former value. So that is called an increment. For example, you move the tire from 14 inches, 14, okay, let's say 14, 18. So 14 by 18, okay, and then you now moved it to 16 by 22. That is an increment. 16 by 22 is an increment as compared to 14 by 18. Okay, so that increment is called a product increment. Now, another framework that we look at, wow, this time is running so fast. Another tool we look at is called the Kanban. Kanban is more pictorial in nature, and you can use Kanban in Scrum. So all of those user stories we talk about, story points, you can exemplify those on Kanban. And should I shock you? If I'm not mistaken, most of us here use Kanban, and we're going to find out now. How many of us have those sticker notes? You have sticker notes in your office. If you have sticker notes in your office, I mean the one you use, you have sticker notes, just type 22 in the chat room. If you have sticker notes, just type 22 in the chat room. Okay, so you have sticker notes. You have different colors and all of that. Okay. So if you use sticker notes, you're already using Kanban. Now, in some organizations, you don't only have sticker notes, you also have sticker boards where you stick your note. And for most of us that use the note, I don't know how you use your note, but the sticker note is actually a Kanban tool. Now, each of the colors represent different, as an artifact, they represent different stories. The blue is a story. The green is a story. The yellow is a story. The red is a story. For those of us that use pink, pink is a story. So the question is, what is the story behind your color? Because those colors, those pictorial things you're writing, They are communicating to your project team. They are communicating to the project owner, their product owner. They are communicating to the Scrum Master. So what is the definition of your colors? I know some of us might not really have paid attention to it, but if you get to have your team understand what those colors mean, then it will help you a lot. So let's say you put red as for critical tasks, green for maybe appreciation notes or thank you notes for work that have been done. So when you have a red, when the red is done, you place you attach a green to it. All right, so you can define those things. So when your teammates see red, they know that they will need to deal with red before they start looking for maybe blue. So maybe red is critical, very urgent. Is it urgent and important? That's red. Then maybe blue is urgent but not important. Yellow is important but not urgent. And then which one is the last one? They are always like four. Maybe pink is not urgent, not important. Okay, so you define your colors so that when you stick any color to your sticker board, it is communicating to your team. That's principally what the Kanban does. Okay, so there are red flags, there are green flags, there are yellow flags, and the blue flags. Okay, red, blue, yellow, green. Okay, dependent on your sticker note. So you define them. You define them. So let's say you have an assistant, and you tell your assistant from tomorrow, you said, anytime you see red, it's very important. Go and check it and do it immediately. Okay. Anytime you see, or perhaps if there is no red but there is blue, do blue next. If there is no blue, then do yellow next. If there is no yellow, then do green. Maybe your green or your pink is your appreciation note. All right, just to so with that, it also helps with your daily stand-up. You can easily communicate to your stakeholders. Okay, so let's get to this. In a range of 25 to 100, please help me understand. Help me know. What do you understand how Kanban works? From 25 to 100. What is your understanding? Why you do that? Now, Kanban originated, or perhaps Kanban visualizes workflow and limits work in progress to optimize flow and efficiency. Kanban originated in Japanese manufacturing but has been successfully adopted or adapted for knowledge work and software development. Unlike Scrum, which works in fixed-length sprints, Kanban is a continuous flow methodology that focuses on visualizing work, limiting work in progress, and optimizing the flow of tasks through the system. The core of Kanban is the Kanban board, that place that you place all those your sticker notes, which visualizes the workflow as a series of continuums representing different stages of the work. Now, there are 6 core practices under Kanban. The first one is to visualize the work. The next one is to manage your flow. How do you manage your flow? You manage your flow by understanding the definition of the different colors. Like I said, if you define your red as critical, then let your team know that it's critical so that anytime they see it, no matter what they are doing, they leave it to attend to that red. Okay, and then other colors following. So with that, you can manage the flow of work, and they will know what is important, what needs to be attended to first, and likes. Then implement feedback loops, limit work in progress. Yes, you can use your Kanban to also limit work in progress. So if you have a color that you can use to put a pause to a work, why not? So let's say you have red, yellow, blue, the red, yellow, or red, blue, and yellow. So maybe those are your major colors. And then you can use your green for appreciation, work done. Okay, so we are good to go. So anytime we see green, it means that, oh, this work was well done. And then your pink can be a way of limiting the work in progress. Maybe the work is going, but some changes are coming, and you don't want the team to continue with the work without you being present. You can put the pink color. That's if it is your definition of pause. Okay, you can limit the work by putting a pink and let them know that, okay, we need to pause here. There are some refinements that are coming in. All right, then you have make process policies explicit. Let everybody know it. What is the color definition? How do we understand which one is what? Okay, what happens when this is placed? What happens when this is removed? And all of that. Then improve collaboratively. Improve collaboratively. All right. Teams using Kanban's focus on metrics such as lead time, that's time from request to delivery, and cycle time, time spent actively working on an item to continuously improve their processes. So most of the organizations that are into manufacturing, that are into logistics, delivery, they use the Kanban. Even most of us in the office, we use Kanban. Then you come, you put sticker notes of what you need to do, maybe within the week or within the month or within the day. You just put your sticker notes and then you're reading them and you're following through. Okay. Then we have the next one, which is the extreme programming. Okay. Extreme programming. Extreme programming. Extreme programming emphasizes technical excellence through practices like pair programming and test-driven development. Now, this is one of the things that those in the IT industry use, but every one of us apply this in a way. Whether it is pair programming or test-driven development, all of us find a way we use them in a way. Okay, and I'm also going to explain how that works and how we all use them. Okay, all right. Extreme programming, SP, is an agile framework that focuses specifically on software engineering practices designed to improve code quality, and responsiveness to changing requirements. Developed by Kent Beck in the late 1990s, SP takes proven software development practices to extreme levels, applying them more rigorously and frequently than traditional approaches. Now, whether it is software or not, if you are someone that is always bent on thorough inspection to ensure quality is met, you're already practicing extreme programming. Now, what do we mean by pair programming? So let's assume we have an MVP that have been declared as the definition of done, and you can use that to inspect other products that will now be deployed to the market. What you're doing is you're pairing quality using the MVP to cross-check across other products or services. All right. And then we also have people that do very tightened inspection. You want to have 99.99% quality. You're already doing the extreme programming. You're going the extra mile to make sure that quality is achieved. Then you have the test-driven development. Yes. Many of us that are into product or service delivery, when you have a product, you want to test it, confirm every product, irrespective of the quality system that is producing it. We need to test it, confirm, validate that product before we send it to the market. Because of some sensitivity, I may not be able to call names, but some times ago, I was in a project management training, and we're looking at quality management. And this man gave a story of what happened when he was in school, that he was part of the SUG, in his school those days. And he went to eat. Where he went to eat, he complained. He found cockroach inside the drink. Okay, he found cockroach inside the drink, and he told them that there is cockroach inside the drink. So they took him for granted and said he was the one that put the cockroach, that he doesn't want to pay for the drink. And instead of taking the matter seriously, the people went on the angle of defending themselves and trying to embarrass him. So he took the matter, knowing fully well that, okay, so this product is not this canteen that even owns it. He took the matter up to the company officially that will found cockroach inside your drink. And instead of treating it fairly, they took a laissez-faire attitude towards it. Now that young man said he had to inform the SUG. The SUG had to inform the students, nobody should take this drink again. As it were, they went to student affairs, where this drink is no longer permitted in this school. Since they don't care about the quality and they don't care about the health of the people using it, we are not going to buy. Coincidentally, they were bringing trailer loads of the same drink into the school. The students had to stop it and destroy it to the single bottle of that drink. So this test-driven approach, that's to say, every drink will have to pass through a UV light to confirm that there is will release it. That could have been a more effective way of solving that problem. All right. So in a way, each and every one of us practice SP, especially for those of us that are quality conscious. Quality conscious. You go to the market. Lady had been saving money to buy Nokia 3110. Nokia 3110 was one of the most valued phones those days. It was one of the phones that you can use to browse, do to go, and all of those things. So this lady had been saving money, and then the consciousness, there was this mindset then that anything from China was fake. Okay, anything from China was fake. So after she had saved money, she went to buy the phone. And on coming back, she started opening the phone, opened the battery, and she saw made in China. She said, no, she cannot use this phone. That the original phone is not made in China. The original phone is made, but in Holland or where. You know, she had to go and return the phone. What was she doing? She was doing extreme programming. Okay, she has a pair she was comparing with. All right. The 5 core values. You have communication, simplicity, feedback, courage, and respect. And as they are, that's what they are. Kanban principally is for communication. If your process is not well communicated in terms of your board and the colors you use and the things you put on your board, if you don't communicate it well, then there will be confusion with your team. They have simplicity. Anything you want to do, it has to be simple. Your storylines, each of the visuals that you're placing there that carries a story, the story has to be simple. Okay, the story. If you use yellow, let's take for instance, you use yellow to cover the entire board. What you're saying, in a sense, is that you're saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing. You must break down your stories to the point that it can enter that your sheet. Okay, it can enter that your sheet so that you know exactly what is inside. Not that you use, because we say you need to make it simple. Now use one color and fill the whole board. Okay, one of those, your sticker note, is enough to communicate what that sticker note, that story point represents at that point. And then another sticker note gives you another story point. Then another sticker note gives you another story point accordingly. All right. Then you have the key technical practices. You have the pair programming, test-driven development, continuous integration, refactoring, simple design, and on-site. What's that? Is it on-site? What is that? Sorry, I need to find out what that is. Okay, on-site customer. Okay. The on-site customer. Right. Now let's round up with sorry, I need to share this separately. So we've looked at Scrum, we've looked at Scrum, we've looked at what do you call the other one? We've looked at Kanban, and then we have looked at extreme programming. Okay, we've looked at extreme programming. Okay, so my screen just went down. I need to bring it up. Just a moment. The time is 4 p.m. Nigerian time. We're expected to stop by this time of the day, but I'm going to plead with you to give me 10 minutes and we'll be done. Just give me 10 minutes and we will be done. Okay, so I think the network is a bit fluctuating. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing Dr. Hawk in class. You are welcome, sir. All right. Now we've looked at Scrum, we've looked at Kanban, and we've looked at extreme programming. So in this class, we are going to be focusing more on the Scrum. We're going to be focusing on the Scrum, and then Scrum and Kanban. In fact, the two of them will be submerged under Scrum. Then we will look at also disciplined Agile. So tomorrow we'll look at Scrum in detail, and then we'll look at disciplined Agile in detail. All right. We've looked also at the benefit of Agile adoption. In summary, there is enhanced adaptability and flexibility, faster time to market, improved customer satisfaction, higher quality products, increased team morale and productivity, and better risk management. And then we have Agile best practices for implementation. Number one, start with cross-functional teams. You can't do it alone. Always leverage on other experts. Number two, set clear communication channels. Implement visual management. So use your Kanban effectively. Prioritize ruthlessly. Prioritize ruthlessly. Then enhance continuous improvement and focus on sustainable pace. The key takeaways in this class: Agile is a mindset, not just a process. It requires a fundamental shift in how teams think about work, collaboration, and value delivery. Values and principles provide the foundation. The 4 values and the 12 principles guide all Agile practices and decision making, whether it is in project management, in HR, in business, in operations, in banking and finance, in anywhere it is at all. These 4 values and 12 principles guide the use of Agile. Multiple frameworks serve different needs. Scrum, Kanban, and SP each offer distinct approaches suited to different contexts and team preference. Agile practices or Agile applies beyond software development. The principles of iterative delivery, customer collaboration, and continuous improvement benefit many domains. Success requires organizational commitment. Agile transformation involves cultural change, leadership support, and investment in training and coaching. Continuous learning is essential. Agile teams must regularly reflect, experiment, and adapt their practices to maximize effectiveness. So this is where we will call it a day on introduction to Agile. Thank you so much for your time. I trust this time has been well spent. Please, if there are questions, comments, contributions, I will take them very quickly, and then we will be on our way home. Okay, so these people that are asking for attendance, this time that I just spent in discussing this class, you didn't even say thank you. You didn't even say clap. You're just asking me for attendance. As an agile coach, I can decide now to not to give you attendance exclusively to those asking me for attendance. Hmm? Oh my God. All right. Okay, so I know it has been a wonderful day. So the best I can do now is, if there are questions, I take them in a moment. If there are no questions, then we'll take our attendance and we will call it a day. For those of us on YouTube, make sure you like the stream and drop your comments. Now, for those of us that are in class, we are going to visit YouTube as regular. So visit the class for today, the afternoon section, like, drop a comment, and subscribe. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. If you've subscribed, then drop your comment, and when we'll come back, we'll take our attendance, and then we'll be on our way. Okay, so everyone, that is the best appreciation you can give to us in the facilitation. All right, thank you so much. So let's get to YouTube. Each and every one of us, let's get to YouTube. While you are doing that, let me ask for the attendance. Okay, let me ask for the attendance. Yes, somebody was asking for hard copy of the material today. Unfortunately, we have stopped the issuance of hard copies. So when you get your soft copy, you're at liberty to print hard copy for your own use. Okay, I don't know if the person is still in class, but when you get access to the soft copy, you can ask your secretary to just print according to how you want to use them. Okay, all right. I'm only seeing 3 people on YouTube. We are 37 people here, so I expect nothing less than 30 likes and 30 comments in the YouTube. Let's go and get it done. Let me. All right, so the attendance is now in the chat room. If you have not taking your attendance. You can go ahead and take it now. The attendance is now in the chat room. One more time, thanks to everyone. It's been awesome learning with you on this first day of this conference. Please, attendance is to be taken twice a day, the morning section and the afternoon section. Attendance is to be taken twice a day, please. Tomorrow we continue on this pre-certification or pre-conference certification workshop. Please note, the physical conference that will also be available for online is coming up on Thursday, the 4th of December 2025. The venue is Committee of Vice Chancellors, National Committee of Vice Chancellors, number 4 Paraco Crescent, Wuse 2, Abuja. For the certification of this course, all members, both old and new, are qualified for this certificate for free. There is no cost attached to it. So you are saving at least 65,000 to yourself, okay? So all members, old and new, are entitled to have the certificates for free. Now, if you are an old member and you are not financially up to date, then you need to update your membership subscription for the year so that you can be able to get the certificate for no cost. All inductees, you don't need to pay anything. All new inductees, you don't need to pay extra fee. Okay, all new inductees, you don't need to pay any extra fee. Okay, so someone says the attendance is not opening, but here it is opening. Okay, just copy the link and post it in your browser. Okay. Now, for non-members and for conferees who want to just attend the conference, and then you want to just attend the conference and then get the certificate. All conferees will have certificate of participation. All conferees will have certificate of participation. But if you now want to get the Agile Foundation certified, the professional certification in Agile, that will be 65,000 naira. That's if you just want to get the Agile alone, that's 65,000 naira. If you want to come to the conference alone, that's 50,000 naira, and then you will receive certificate of participation. And you want to become a member, so that you will have everything inclusive. You have your membership, you have your membership induction, you have your conference certificate, you have your professional Agile certificate. Then the fee for associate is 150,000. Full member is 200,000, and then fellow is 300,000. Tomorrow we'll bring more clarity to this. But at this point, we'll have to tell you, go and have a good night rest, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning by 10 a.m. God bless you, Ray. Architect Armstrong, you have a question? Architect Armstrong, your hand is up. Do you have a question? All right, so I perceive. Okay. Man, sure, the attendance is opening, the attendance is complete. So you need to find out, using an agile approach now, find out why is your attendance neither opening nor copying. You need to find out using agile approach. Eh? But the attendance is opening. Yes.
So
Architect,
I was requesting for the attendance, so it came. It was reposted. So thank you very much.
all right. Thank you so much, Architect. Okay, so let me shorten the link and repost it. So maybe for those, we have about 10% that have filled the attendance already. So what I'm going to do is I will shorten the link and post it again. I will shorten the link and post it again. Let's find out what the challenge is. Let's shorten the link and post it. Okay, so please kindly confirm if it is opening now. And if you sign your attendance, please, you are at liberty to go and have a good night rest. If you've signed your attendance, please feel free to check out. So Lady Henshaw, is it opening now? Lady Henshaw, can you confirm if it is opening? Okay, for those of us on YouTube, we are okay. Another thing you can do, if you're finding it difficult to take your attendance here, maybe you can try YouTube and try the channel on YouTube and see if it will be better for you. If you're finding it difficult to, so you can just visit YouTube. Visit the YouTube and then take your attendance there. That's in case it's not, your own is not highlighting. You can just visit the YouTube.
Dr. Banicho, it's not opening.
Please
post on YouTube. That's where I filled the last time.
Okay. So I've posted it on YouTube now. So you can just follow the link and get to the YouTube. Yeah. I have Frank Markwe. Frank Markwe, you have a question? Frank Markwe, you have a question? Your hand is up. Okay, Armstrong, your hand is up again. Is it
yes,
a new
sir.
hand or?
It's a new hand.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say that for the attendance link, it looks like if you are using a phone, like I tried opening today using my phone, it didn't work. So I had to go to the YouTube for the first session. But when I use my laptop, it opens. So I don't know what's happening. So I think it's either with the link, just to give you a feedback. You know, we just did Agile, so I'm giving you feedback now so that we can improve on it.
So what it means is that we have to be posting the attendance across all platforms.
Yes.
So that in case. Okay. But are there people in class that are able to fill from their phones? So let's know whether it is a mobile thing or it is. Are there people that were able to fill from their phones, like from the Google Meet, you clicked and you went to your phone? Is there anybody who did that? Okay, so if you have a challenge, if you're viewing from mobile, I have a challenge, please just use the YouTube and get the attendance. Okay. All right, thank you so much, men and brethren. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow by 10 a.m. Nigerian time. And as we prepare to meet tomorrow, let's also prepare to meet on December 4th, 2025 at National Committee of Vice Chancellors, number 4 Paraco Crescent, Wuse 2, Abuja. And if you've not filled the conference participation form, Tomorrow we'll bring it up again. We'll share the list of the people that have what? Okay. So Dr. Life said you have to sign in to your Gmail to fill the attendance. Okay. We're getting good feedbacks. Okay. We're getting good feedbacks. Okay. Okay. Mr. King Sonia, is your hand up?
Yes.
Okay, so this class is officially over. If there are questions, I will attend to them, but the class is officially over. You are at liberty to sign off, please, if you take your attendance. Yes, Mr. King Sonia, welcome. Good to see you again.
Yes. Thank you, sir. I think on the phone device, it doesn't appear as a link to open.
Okay.
Yes, so that's why
Okay.
people are finding it difficult. So I think it's better posted
Okay.
on the WhatsApp platform and the YouTube platform for people using phone device. It's only when you are using laptop that it appears as a link. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. That's well captured. Thank you so much. You see, these are the collaboration we are talking about. So now we know that on the phone device you might have difficulty signing, but if it is on the YouTube or other platforms, it might be easier. Thank you so much. Okay, if there are other questions, I will attend to them. Okay, so Dr. Ojita, Elder Reverend Ojita, have been able to sign into the YouTube app. Thank you so much, Reverend. Okay, the venue address should be dropped in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so we've been dropping the venue over and over again, but we'll keep dropping it till somebody went to the venue today. Even with the fact that we kept saying that we have 2 days online and 1 day in class, but somebody went to the venue today. And I'm sure she will tell us how the venue looks like by the time we get there. Or by the time we come back tomorrow, she will tell us how the venue looks like, since she has gone ahead of us. Okay. So the venue, we'll keep posting it. We'll send it to your email. We'll use all possible communication means to post it. And if you are not on the WhatsApp group, yes. If you are for the conference and you are not in the WhatsApp group yet, you are not in the WhatsApp group yet, but you are for the conference, let me get that and drop in the chat room so that everyone could be in the conference WhatsApp group. Just give me a moment. If you are not in the WhatsApp group yet for the conference, not the other general WhatsApp groups, the WhatsApp group for the conference. If you're not there yet, please, I'm going to be dropping the link in a moment. Please get to join by all means. Okay. Because on the day of the conference, we might not be posting across other platforms or across other, we'll just be posting only on the Agile conference. Where is it? Okay, I think I'm not able to get it right now, but you can just chat us up 08147029035. You can just chat us up and just let the CRO add you to the WhatsApp group. If you are not in the WhatsApp group, just get the phone number and chat the CRO up to add you in the conference WhatsApp group, or send you the link to the conference WhatsApp group. And I'm sure she'll be glad to do that. Okay. Thank you. And God bless you. Remember, when you're coming for the conference, come with your bottle of wine. We'll provide cup for you so that you share with somebody. That is your way of celebrating yourself on that day. Come with a bottle of wine. If the wine is too much, we'll package it for the next conference. But everyone, make sure you come with at least a bottle of wine to celebrate your induction, to celebrate your conference. And okay, so if there is somebody representing you, please kindly give the person an authorization letter. Authorization letter. If somebody is representing to collect your certificate, if somebody is representing you just to see how the event went and to eat your food on your behalf, no problem. But if the person is going to collect your certificates and any other vital document, then an authorization letter. I, so, right, to introduce as the person you are recommending to collect your certificates and everything, and you sign. So when the person comes, he will give us the copy and your documents and every that will be released to the person. All right. Frank Markwe, your hand came up again. Please, if you have a question, feel free to ask. Frank Markwe.
Yes, my hand came up again. The attendance, is it the former one we are going to fill? Are you hearing me? Hello? 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 Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I said the attendance, is it the former one we are going to fill? Because is it to fill?
Attendance is twice per day. So it's the same attendance.
I know. Is it the same one we are going to fill again?
Yes, it's the same thing. It's the same one you're going to fill again for today.
Oh, okay. I thought there is another one we are going. Oh, okay. No, my own is opening.
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.